All right, welcome back to the Are You in the Book podcast. My name is Eric Wilbenaw, the owner and president of the Baseball Bluebook, and we're excited to have Logan Stout with us today on the Are You in the Book podcast. Logan is a powerhouse entrepreneur, philanthropist, and best-selling author. He's also the founder of the Dallas Patriots baseball organization and currently serves as the head coach of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff baseball team. We're excited to have a great discussion with the true leader. Welcome, Logan.
Eric, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me. Last time I had you on, we were down at the ABCA conference in Dallas, and just thought I would reach out again now that you are the head coach at UAPB, which is an exciting move for you. Not necessarily what you maybe intended to do, but I'd love to hear kind of the backstory of how you got the position and what you're looking forward to as you continue through this first season.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a wonderful place, but it is an interesting story. It's probably the number one question I've been asked in all the interviews and whatnot I've done is, why Pine Bluff? How'd you get here? And so a lot of people don't know my background. So I was raised by a single mom and, basically worked full time since the age of 12. And being a college coach was always sort of what I wanted to do. And so when I had the injury-plagued professional career, I went into coaching. I coached at Dallas Baptist University. We took DBU from NAIA to NCAA Division I. Well, I was trying to pay the bills as a coach, right? And so I started this little side gig. This is 2003. I started this little side gig just to make some extra money. Well, that side gig just blew up. And so over the last, 20 years, I've been very blessed, generated over $4 billion in revenue, which led to the book writings and the keynote speaking and all the television junk. But my heart's in baseball. That's, and so the Dallas Patriots has always sort of been my ministry. It's been a way to make a difference in kids' lives. In fact, it's cool seeing all of our alumni. Trevor Story's having his 10th opening day this year, which is really cool. And so Josh Bell, I guess, as well. So it's been really cool just to see all the kids that have come to the Patriots. But really for the last 15 to 20 years, every May and June, I would get that phone call from athletic directors, right? Hey, Coach Stout, we know you've moved on. You're no longer interested in being a college coach anymore. But who are your top 3 candidates you would recommend for us?
Right.
And so behind the scenes, without really anybody in baseball knowing, I've been helping place college coaches for the last 20 years. And so they're all my buddies, they're all my friends. And I'm in the car one time, and I've got 12-year-old twins, Miles and Cooper. And I'm in the car. And, of course, when the phone rings, your car rings, right? And so they can hear the conversations. And I don't remember exactly who called. I think it was Tony Vitello or may have been Jim Schloss. I don't remember, but it was somebody my kids recognized, right? And they said, Dad, we think it's really cool. All these college coaches. Weren't you a college coach? I go, I was, buddy, I was. And they said, well, why'd you ever stop? And I go, well, to pay the bills. And I never thought 20 years later I would not be back. So anyway, they come to me that night. And I'm watching a college baseball game. And I'm literally texting with the athletic director of this university, just my thoughts. And they go, Dad, we think it'd be really cool if you go back to college coaching. And I go, boys, I don't think you understand what that entails. So fast forward, hired CEOs to run my companies and burn the ships, if you will, and uprooted my entire family where we lived in Frisco, Texas for the last 20 plus years, Dallas, Texas, our entire life, and moved to Arkansas. And what led to us to Arkansas, I had actually accepted the head coaching position at another Division I school. And I said, let me meet with my wife and whatnot before it's finalized. Well, on the ride home from that university, Torrey Hunter called. Of course, we all know Torrey.
Yep.
He's on the Hall of Fame ballot this year. Great ambassadors of the game. And Torrey and I own a few companies together. And he said, Logan, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, man, I'm actually not going to believe this. I'm going to go back into Division I college coaching. And he goes, at UAPB. I go, what? He goes, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. I said, brother, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he said, no, the athletic director, I'm going to give you his number. I'm going to exchange. You need to meet with him. We need a baseball coach, and you're the perfect guy. And I'm like, Pine Bluff? I don't even,
right.
So I'm a builder. I love building things. I think that's why the entrepreneur in me came out. And UAPB was dead last in RPI last year, the worst Division I team in the country. It was the summer when I got this call. So it's late. We have a few weeks to put a team together. And the field hadn't been taken care of in 2 weeks. I don't think they'd had new uniforms in years. And so it was the perfect fit for my personality.
Yeah.
And so my wife and my wife and I, we went all in. And so we're having a blast. We love Arkansas. The weather's phenomenal. The people are the nicest people in the world. The air quality is great, and there's no traffic, which is awesome being in Dallas, Texas. So, but the field's great, man. We've had a ton of fun. We've revamped the whole place. It looks awesome. Deck the players out with all new gear and unis and hats and travel stuff. So we're having a lot of fun, and it's an uphill battle, but anything that's worth it is. So we're having a good time.
No, it sounds like it's a perfect fit. You know, you talk about being an entrepreneur and having that spirit, and probably being really one of the things that drew you to the opportunity is looking at the potential, right? The potential is where I think the entrepreneur really comes in. They find a need, they find something that is missing, and they go, you know what, I think I can bring my skill sets to that. So real quick, now is it always been Coach Stout, or is that now kind of a transition over to now hearing Coach Stout again? Is that kind of a transition for you?
No, I mean, I've been a head coach for 25 years, as you
Right.
know, and so it's not in college. And so coaching the best travel ball guys in the world is what I've been fortunate to do. But it's so funny in pro ball, they call you Logan or they call you Skip, right? Your first name. You never call them coach.
Right.
And then in college or summer ball, I told the players in summer, like, call me Logan, call me coach, whatever you want to call me. But in college, they call me Coach Stout. I said, you can call me coach, you can call me Skip, you can call me whatever. I don't really care what you call me. Just do your job, So, but no, it is an absolute blessing being a college coach. I can't believe it's been over 2 decades. It's funny how life turns out, but I don't envision myself doing anything else ever again other than being a college coach. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations again, and I appreciate that. And one of the things that we talk about on the "Are You in the Book" podcast is it's all head coaches from all different levels, and so it really is talking about just what's going on. One in the kind of in the in the world of college baseball, which is in 20 years, you've been part of baseball. So it hasn't been a surprise as far as what's changed, but now being kind of in the reins, taking the reins and doing this, I'm sure there's some of the things that that has transitioned that you might be, prepared for. Talk a bit about the difference, kind of what you're now seeing that is completely different, areas that you've got to focus on a little bit different, and really your skill set and what that brings to the table in some of these new, new changes that have come in with at the college baseball level.
Yeah, no, I mean, you bring up a great point. It's interesting because I've been on every side of it, right? I've been a major league scout for 20 plus years, run a travel ball organization, so placing players. I played college, played professional, college coach. So I've been on every angle of this. And so I think that's a huge advantage, honestly, because I know what the players want. I know what the college coaches want, right? In this case, it's me. And so the landscape has changed dramatically, right? So at the Division One level, we go from 40 down to 34 players. As of December 1st of 2025, it's got to be 34 players declared. We don't know if they're going to let us carry more in the fall yet or not. We're hoping for 38, but we'll see. So that's a big change, right? And then, of course, if you opt into this whole settlement, or if you don't opt in, right, that changes your scholarships. And most schools, it won't impact them at all because they don't have more money to
Right.
allocate for scholarships, and we're in that boat, honestly. So that really doesn't affect us a whole lot. But honestly, it's going to affect the high school kids, and I feel really bad for the high school kids, honestly, because they don't understand why the phone's not ringing.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I mean, I'm on the phone every day talking to potential recruits, as long as it's allowed by NCAA rules, right? I'm not in the no contact period, all that. But it's amazing to me just how uneducated their parents are and these high school kids are as to what's really going on.
Yeah.
Even their travel ball coaches. So you'll see stuff they post or whatever, and I'm like, man, you really don't understand how this works now. This isn't like it used to be. And so, people don't understand all that comes with putting a roster together, from their grades to progress towards degree. If they're transferring, how many of their transfer credits even apply? People say, what are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for? I'm like, well, I don't know as a Division I college coach what I'm looking for, because the draft is until July now.
Right.
Right. It's good for college baseball in regards to the players aren't distracted because they haven't been drafted in the middle of the College World Series, but it's horrible because we don't know if they're coming back or not, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we don't know about the portal. Who's going into the portal? Who's not going to the portal? And I think the portal needs to be fixed, obviously. And I say that because listen, sports should be a platform to equip and empower leaders for when sports are done. The end game isn't sport. And what drives me crazy is we're literally teaching these kids that, hey, just switch to this team, switch to this team, switch to this team, switch to this team, switch to this team. And then as a business owner,
Yeah.
I've employed thousands of people. These young kids don't even understand work ethic.
Yeah.
Like if they don't, if one thing doesn't go their way, they'll just go look for another job.
Yep.
Right. And I think the biggest frustration I'm seeing is people don't understand the importance of adversity. I tell our players all the time, you don't win the World Series in week 1. You don't make the playoffs in week 1. The key is to win the last game.
Yeah.
That's the key, to win your last game. And the world I'm seeing is it's about, if we don't win that first game, whatever's going on. And I mean, we got off to a horrible start. Nobody understands why, right? Nobody cares. Injuries, guys that were ineligible against all kind of crazy stuff has happened.
Yep.
Okay, well, as a coach, I'm using this adversity as a growing moment, right? And so it's an opportunity to embrace what's happening, reflect on it, learn from it, and grow from it versus simply go through it. And I think people look at adversity as something to be avoided. And I mean, I'm just right before we got on here, I got some email from a dad. His kid's a senior in high school. And he sends me this long deal about how great his son is and all this stuff. And I'm one of the few coaches that actually read them all. I do. I don't know why I do. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I actually read them all. And so I'm reading this thing. I show it to my wife, and my wife was like, we wouldn't do that for our 12-year-olds,
Right.
let alone a senior in high school, right? And so I said, honey, I guarantee you this kid's not any good. And that's why daddy's doing it,
Yeah.
right? And so I looked the kid up. He's 72 miles an hour. He's a 2025 grad. He's 5'7". Like, God bless him. I'm not saying he could be a wonderful human being.
Right.
But where in the world does this dad think that's a Division I college baseball player?
Yeah.
And so, well, what's daddy doing? Protecting his little son from adversity. God forbid the son. So I replied. I said, dear sir, please have your son contact me directly. And I will have a very honest conversation with where I see your son standing as it pertains to being a baseball player at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Have a great day and God bless. Period. Right? I mean, I'm sure he'll reply back with some whatever. But my point is this. Anybody listening to this, listen, our job through sports is to grow young men and grow young women, right? That's our job, right? It is not to win a ring. I mean, that's a part of it. That success is a byproduct, right? But it shouldn't be the overall end goal. It's who are these young athletes becoming along the way? That's what matters. Absolutely. Who are they becoming along the way? And we just got to fix this. This has got to be fixed. And so going back to your original question, it's totally changed. And you can see legendary coaches kind of refusing to change.
Right.
And their records kind of reflecting that. And you see them retiring. I think the advantage is I have been a business guy. I've been in boardrooms for the last 2 decades. I understand the transactional nature that we're living in sports. I don't like it, but I understand the transactional nature that we're dealing with, especially at the Division I level. And so it's so interesting what's happening right now with NIL. That's got to get cleaned up. Transfer portal, that's got to get cleaned up. And ultimately, I think we need to go back to what's best for the kids.
Yep. No,
that's what it's supposed to be about. And I've got 2 core values as a coach, and I tell our coaching staff and players the same thing. Number 1, I want to make God proud of me. I fail sometimes at that, but my goal is to make God proud of me. Number 2, always do what's best for the kid. Always. I tell our players, I treat you the same way I treat my own flesh and blood, Miles and Cooper, my sons. Anything I say to you, I would say the same exact thing to them in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping you understand where I'm coming from as a coach. I'm coming as a father figure, because some of these guys don't have father figures, right? I'm coming as a father figure. I'm coming as a coach. I'm coming as a mentor. I'm coming as a leader. You may not like what I'm going to tell you. Just like my sons may not like what I tell them. But a friend tells you what you need to hear. A fan tells you what you want. I'm not your fan.
Yep.
I'm your friend. I'm here to mentor you. And so I just wish I literally pray that this gets cleaned up for the sake of our world and our country. I mean, these lessons we're teaching these kids, go chase the dollar. Listen, I've made millions and millions of dollars. And here's what I've learned. If you chase money, you'll end up miserable. If you chase fulfillment, you'll end up completely filled with gratitude and peace and joy that you can't even describe. Money can't buy that.
Right.
And so we're teaching these kids to chase dollars. Forget loyalty. Forget your teammates. Go get yours. And it's messed up.
It's Boy, it's I really love having you on. The perspective that you have is really good. I mean, coaches across the country are feeling it. One of the main themes of really every podcast I've had is really talking about what you're talking about is the mentorship and raising these kids, as you know, taking them from boys to men, and allowing them to understand what the world is really about. You know, we typically say baseball is such a great sport because it is a sport full of adversity. The problem is we always are trying to avoid adversity, like you said. I mean, baseball's proven you will never avoid adversity. So it's almost like, why are we trying to avoid adversity out in the real world when we know what it does in the sport of baseball? And I think that having coaches like you know, that are part of this is exactly what we need. What we need. And I appreciate you even bringing it into the bigger picture. This is a problem across the board, right? The avoidance, the helicopter parents. You know, we've always talked about that. I love what you said. You know, the parent emailing you, and it's like, guys, you've got to start growing up. I think we're keeping kids from growing up, and not throwing them out there and letting them fall. One of my best quotes, I share this with a lot of coaches, is a Batman quote. It's why do you fall? It's so that you can learn how to get up, right? We're not trying to avoid the fall. You need the fall so that you can learn from the fall. And I think that you bring that great perspective on that. Coach, let's talk about the program in general. You know, a lot of people ask coaches, you know, where you find the players and what type of players. And I love that you even answered that. I don't know, right? I'm building something. But let's go back to kind of your, just experience in being this coach at all these different levels today. What is the most important thing that a parent can do for their players, for a player can do for themselves, a coach at the high school level, at the youth league can do for the players? What is the most important thing that you can share that they can do to help that player?
There's a lot. Number one is when you grow, everything around you grows. And so my kids are in the car listening to recruits, and one of them said, "Dad, it's so crazy how a junior college player communicates differently than a high school player." Oh yeah, you know why? Because knowledge is what you learn.
Yeah.
Wisdom is what you've lived. You can't buy wisdom. And these kids have been to junior college. They've been through a recruiting process to get to junior college, right?
Yeah.
They now realize how much talent is in junior college. It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
the talent. Everybody thinks they're a great player until they show up to the first practice. Then like, oh cow, you know. And so these kids have been humbled. You know, even if they are the best players on their junior college, they've been humbled and they're grateful for the opportunity that they have. Where these high school kids, generally speaking, I mean, they think they hang the moon.
Yeah.
They have no clue what talent's out there. Now, if parents or high school kids are listening to this, you have no clue, none, man. And you need to understand that, okay? You don't know what you don't know. And you may think I'm a jerk. You may hate me for that. I'm just being honest with you. I'm going to be a truth teller in your life. You don't know what you don't know. And when that player steps on a campus, I don't care if it's at a junior college, NAI, D3, D2, Division One like us, the talent will blow your mind.
Yeah.
And so be humble and grateful during the recruiting process. I had a kid message me on DM, you know, what are you going to offer me? I said, nothing. I wish you nothing but the best. That was literally my reply. And he's a good player. But here's what I tell my sons, and this is what I would encourage every parent and player to understand. You need to know who you are. Okay? You need to know who you are. You cannot love others and do life well unless you love yourself and are at peace with who you are. The three greatest ways to waste time on the planet is to try to be somebody you're not, try to impress people, and worry. Those are the three best ways to waste time. Worry, right? That solves nothing.
Yep.
Try to go around impressing people. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to have haters. That's just part of life, right? And then try to be someone you're not. Listen, don't try to be someone you're not. They're already taken.
Yeah.
Okay? So you do you, be you. And so know who you are, know whose you are. I'm a man of faith, so that's important to me. Not for everybody, but for me it is. And so I think it's important you know that. And here's why. Because when you have core values, see your core values, think of like bowling. You know, the bumpers in bowling to keep the ball from rolling a gutter. Your core values keep you from rolling gutter balls. they keep you on the straight and narrow. You have to know your core. What do you prioritize? For me, it's my faith. Number 2, it's my family. Number 3, it's everything else. Okay, so UAPB baseball, speaking engagements, mentoring people, whatever it is. I have to know my priorities, because it's not about how you deal with your schedule. It's how you schedule your priorities.
It's good.
I want to make sure you heard me on that, right?
Yep.
It's not about how you handle the priorities in your schedule. No, it's how you schedule your priorities, right? And so as a player, you need to know what kind of environment you want to be in. Because if you could be a great player, but in the wrong environment, you're not gonna be happy, and you're not gonna play well, right? And so you need to know what program fits you, right? If you don't want to pray after practice, and you don't want your head coach talking about his faith, I'm probably not the coach for you. Okay, because I'm outspoken about that. Now, I love everybody. I don't judge anybody, right? And that's part of what it means to me to be a Christian. It's not to be judgmental, Bible beaten over the head. No, it's to love people,
Right.
not go around judging people. And so I think people have Christianity all messed up, but that's a whole other topic. And so at the end of the day, you have to know what kind of coach you want to be led by, because the relationship you have with that coach is going to make or break the whole thing for you, truthfully. And so as a coach, I'm very outspoken about what I look for in a player, because I believe the right culture naturally attracts the right who, and will naturally repel the wrong who. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. That doesn't mean they're a bad player. That just means it's not the right fit for the culture. You only have 34 roster spots, right?
Yep.
So as a coach, I'm going to be very intentional. It's a word I use with my players every day. Intent. Be intentional. Normal people accidentally exist through the day. Successful people intentionally design their day, right? So there's 5 things I look for in a player. Number 1, I look for a player that wants to grow as a young man, wants to grow as a leader. They want to grow, because in our culture, we're going to mentor you about life, and we're going to be intentional about that. You have to want that. You have to want to grow you, right? Number 2, you want to grow as a player. I'm passionate about player development. You're going to want to grow as a player. If you want me to just come in here and babysit you, we're the wrong place. We're here to make you better and ultimately get you drafted. I've been very blessed to coach hundreds of major league draft picks, a ton of big leaguers, big league all-stars. That doesn't happen by accident. Okay, and so you got to out-plan, out-prepare, and out-intent everybody. And so I want guys that want that. Number 3, I look for guys that absolutely hate losing with a passion.
It's good.
Hate losing with a passion. That's one of the biggest things that we struggle with early in the season. Is I only had basically 9 returners, some guys in the portal, so I had to recruit 30 plus new guys in 3 weeks at the end of the summer, sight unseen. Right? Well, listen. Let's just be honest. Why are they still available? Right? Okay.
Right.
Now I'm going to tell you this. I'm very blessed that we have them, and I believe I'd put our guys up against anybody. Hell, we beat the University of Arkansas Little Rock this year. It's the first time in the history of UAPB's program to beat University of Arkansas Little Rock. Beat Eastern Illinois, first time in the history of our program to beat Eastern Illinois. So we're beating people we've never beaten. So we've been in games. ORU, we lost 3-2 opening day. They went to the College World Series 2 years ago, lost 3-0 the next day. So my point is, the biggest culture shift that we've had to create in these guys is expecting to win.
It's good.
Because for a decade, they've expected to lose.
Right.
They've only had 1 winning season in the history of the program, right? They've never made the postseason. And so it's conditioning them to know you have to expect to win. Your expectations plus your tolerations lead to your destination. If you have low expectations and you tolerate anything, you're going to pretty much end up with nothing. And so that's the third thing. I want guys that absolutely hate losing with a passion. Number 4, I look for guys that are phenomenal teammates. They understand that individuals play the game, teams win championships. I make every one of my players sign a social contract. This social contract means this is how we're going to do life together. You're agreeing to these terms to be a part of this baseball team, right? And so this social contract basically is about respect everybody. Respect everybody. Fear no one. We're going to lead with love. We're going to be active in our community. We see a little kid in the stands, we're going to go up and shake his hand and say hi to him. We're going to leave this world better than we found it. It's not about what can I get, right? It's about what can I give.
Yeah.
And so really intentional about that. Then the 5th thing I look for, guys, I have 3 non-negotiables. You're going to bring great attitude, great effort, great focus all day, every day. The umpire could be great. The umpire could be bad. Having a bad attitude doesn't solve anything, right? You could be 4 for 4 or 0 for 4. Having a bad attitude doesn't solve anything. Having a bad effort doesn't solve anything. Having bad focus doesn't solve anything. And so at the end of the day, I've never met a successful person. Hey, tell me the key to your success. Well, coach, horrible effort, horrible attitude, horrible focus. That's been my key. Said no one ever. And so at the end of the day, we're gonna bring those 5 things are what I'm looking for. When I'm on the phone with the recruit, I ask them point blank, Do you believe that you can check the box, absolutely check the box on all 5 of those? And if not, I'd love to know why. And I ask him, I want him to know, because I tell him point blank, you will be miserable playing for me if you don't embody those 5 characteristics. Miserable, because the rest of your teammates are absolutely going to hold you accountable to those 5 things. And so, what do I look for? I mean, going back to your question though, if I'm a parent, I'm a player, I got to know who I am.
Yeah.
I got to know how I listen. This is huge. I was mentoring one of my players. He started his own company, so I love doing this. I love like getting to mentor them on that stuff for life after baseball, right? And he goes, "Well, I just like being my own boss." I said, "Let me caution you. Every leader was at one point in time a great follower. Every leader was at one point in time a great follower. So check your ego at the door,
Yep.
right? Leader means there's more people that you're supposed to serve.
Yeah.
Not more people serve you. People got that backwards, right? I told him when I was CEO and had tens of thousands of employees, that meant God entrusted me with tens of thousands of people. It's my job to serve them. Their job's not to serve me, the CEO, chairman, founder. That's backwards. That's a bad culture. And so at the end of the day, I tell these players and I tell these parents, bottom line, man, you have to know who you are. You have to know what kind of coach you want to be led by, right? And the rest of it, honestly, is kind of irrelevant, truthfully, because baseball's baseball, right?
This is great.
The field's the same dimensions, and so people get caught up in the stadiums, and we have a nice stadium, but the stadiums and the blah blah blah. No, those things are distant third, fourth, fifth, sixth compared to know who you are, know who you want to be led by.
Yep. Coach, that's fantastic. Hey, for you guys joining us, you probably didn't think you were going to get life lessons by Coach Stout, but obviously that's what he does. It's what he brings to the table. Exciting information. I would encourage you to not only check out his program, UAPB, up at Arkansas, Pine Bluff, but also everything else that he does. Again, entrepreneur, book, an author, and just the founder of a number of businesses. Coach, we really appreciate you joining us today on the Are You in the Book podcast. It's exciting to see what you're doing. And really, and my own personal opinion, you're exactly, I think you even said this, you're exactly where you need to be. It's exactly where you want to be is always, one of those things that we want to be one thing, but you're actually where you need to be. Those kids are absolutely blessed to have a mentor in their life. And you know what? If I was one of those kids, I'd be lucky to think that I had not found my place until late. And it was a call from you to have them come and join your new program. So, Coach, best of luck with everything. Godspeed with it. Excited to continue to follow you guys. We're not too far away. We're right up in Springfield, Missouri, and so I actually got to check your schedule, see if you're up here in the Missouri area, and make sure I catch a game.
Yeah, we play Missouri. We play Missouri this coming Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh, do you
at Missouri?
Up at Mizzou? Okay, yeah. You know what? That's not too far from me, and I may make my way up there and catch the game. So, Coach,
but let me know, and I appreciate all you do for baseball, man. I appreciate all you do, not just for baseball, for those that want to be great. They want their kids to be great. Yeah. You guys do a phenomenal job of just providing content, and with a lot of garbage and noise in the world, it's refreshing to have people that are doing it for the right reasons. And so, thank you for that. And yeah, excited about UAPB. Excited about the Golden Lions. We've got a big mountain to climb, but I'm excited to climb it.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much. You have a great day.